Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I am your host, Marissa, and, well, it's just me. As you may recall, we mentioned back at the end of May that we were going to start doing all solo episodes from here on out at the beginning of June. So, well, here I am. Anywho, happy Sunday, everybody. It is now June 2nd, which also means my birthday is this week. This is my birth week. I am super excited to say that Dystro is coming up here this week. We're going to be hanging out, going on a little road trip to Vermont. I can't wait to tell you all about it, though, on next week's Shoot the Shit. So, stay tuned for that. Anyways, I hope everybody had a really, really good week. I hope everybody kicked June off to a really good start. Honestly, I have high hopes for this month. This weekend's been pretty good, and I've always loved June. It's probably my favorite time of the year, next to Fair Week in August, so I have a lot of hope for this. Anyways, thank you guys for joining, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. So, tonight is going to be my very first random ranking episode ever done by myself. However, I still have Dystro's notes, because Dystro did rank the same songs as I did. We're still going to do that, just I'm going to read his off while I do mine. So this is episode 5 of AC/DC edition of Random Ranking, and honestly, this series is never going to die. I love doing Random Ranking, probably one of the best series we've ever done on this channel, because there's so many bands and artists that we could do these for, and AC/DC is probably one of the first ones we've ever done, next to Billy Talent, because that was like our second pilgrimage we did together as friends. So, without further ado, I have the 10 songs up for grabs tonight. In this particular order, we have You Shook Me All Night Long, Skies on Fire, Decibel, Night Prowler, Back in Black, Stiff Upper Lip, Systems Down, Go Zone, Stand Up, and Nick of Time. So those are the 10 songs up for grabs tonight. So me and Dystro went ahead already and ranked our tracks from 10 to 1, 10 being our least favorite, 1 being our favorite. So, without a further ado, let's get into it. I need to go ahead and find his rankings real quick. So let's see, right here, perfect. Alright, so, at number 10, I put Go Zone, which is a track from Blow Up Your Video. In general, that album is heavily underrated. I really wish more people looked into it, because it is a good album. It is a very, very good album. However, Go Zone's not my go-to from that album. It's not my go-to track. It's track number 4 on the album, I do remember that. It's not my go-to. I don't listen to it a lot. I do remember it. As with the rest of these songs, I do remember it. It's just I don't listen to it a whole lot. But that's usually how it goes around here for number 10. But in Dystro's case, he put Back in Black, which, I mean, I can see why. It's super, super overplayed. I literally just heard it, 3 times on Saturday. The whole freaking day I heard it 3 times, within, 2 hours. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So I can see why he put it at number 10. It's, overplayed. Heavily rotated on the radio stations. It's kind of like a fucking Thunderstruck situation where it's oh my god, they play it so fucking much. Ugh. Alright, so up to number 9, I went with Systems Down from Power Up. Now, Power Up in general, I have not listened to that album in a very, very long time. I do remember this song in particular, which I'm actually very lucky that we got this song, because a lot of the other ones on Power Up I don't remember very well. I think the last time we listened to it was about 2 years ago, when we did the pilgrimage back at, the end of 2022? Was it the end? No. It was it kind of was the end of 2022 when we did it. We ended in November or something like that. That's how long it's been since we've done that album. That album is very, very good, but Systems Down is going to take the number 9 spot just because it does not have a whole lot of replay value for me. Dystro put Go Zone at number 9. So, kind of a similar situation with Go Zone, I'm guessing, for him as well. Don't hear it all the time. It's not a go-to song for him from Blow Up Your Video. Blow Up Your Video is very, very good. It has a lot of good tracks, and I feel like I said, people really take that for granted. So if I were you, if you have not done so already, we actually did a breakdown of that album last year. That album was by far the worst album to find meanings for. It was awful. We couldn't find anything. But if you haven't taken a listen to it already, go ahead and check out the breakdown playlist on the channel. It's in there. It's from last year. I believe we did that. Alright, at number 8, I went ahead and put Nick of Time. This is the other track from Blow Up Your Video that we got tonight. I actually like Nick of Time over Go Zone, so that's why it got put a little higher. But there's so many other bigger songs on this list that I had to put it at number 8. It's obviously not going to make my top 5. It's not, I don't over listen to it. I hear it. I do hear it on my playlist here and there. It's really good. Even though AC/DC fans beg to differ. I actually really like this song, but it's going to take the number 8 spot just because I don't play it all the time, and there's bigger songs to choose from here. So Dystro went with Systems Down for number 8. Again, probably the same situation. Doesn't hear it as much. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he didn't even get to go ahead and re-listen to it, even though I usually tell him to go ahead and do that. He probably did. I'm probably lacking confidence. My bad. He most likely did go back and re-listen to Systems Down. It's just the fact that it's not as good as the other ones, because there's a lot of big contenders on this list tonight, so I can see why. At number 7, I put Back in Black here. Yes, it is heavily overplayed, but it is better than the 3 songs I mentioned before it. It is heavily overplayed, so obviously it's not going to make the top 5 for me, as many other AC/DC fans may say differently, but it is still a very good song. I will give it that. It's probably one of AC/DC's biggest hits. It's actually their biggest album. Back in Black is their biggest album of all time. Because it's the follow-up album following Bon Scott's death. They're transitioning into the new singer with Brian. Overall, though, Back in Black, killer album, good track. So Dystro put You Shook Me All Night Long at number 7, the other Back in Black track we got tonight. Man, I love that song. I actually put that song a little higher on my list just because I really, really like it. I don't hear it enough. Surprisingly enough, I don't hear it enough. I wish I did. My radio station doesn't play it very much. Like, literally all they play is, like, Money Talks, Thunderstruck, and Back in Black. Maybe if you get lucky, you'll hear For Those About to Rock, but other than that, you really don't hear much. And Highway to Hell, obviously. I'm very surprised he put it that low, but, down in Florida, radio stations may be a little different. He might hear it more than I do, and that's totally respectable, I should say. But I can see why. Okay, at number 6, this is where things get a little different. I put Stand Up here, The Lone Wolf from Fly on the Wall. I absolutely love that album, and I hate seeing people diss on it, but then again, some people have every right to do that because it was lacking production. Same thing with Flick of the Switch. Both albums lacked production severely. But, in my opinion, both albums are very good. I'm very glad we got Stand Up because we just got that on MTV Night not too long ago, believe it or not. So, it's still fresh in my head. I love that album to death. Stand Up, I feel like it should be bigger than it is. It's really good. It has, like, a really, like, raw sound to it, I guess you could say. Just like the whole Fly on the Wall album does. It just has a really raw sound to it. So I had to put it at number 6. Dystro went ahead and put Nick of Time from Blow Up Your Video. I'm actually very surprised. I'm going to be honest. That one kind of surprised me a little bit. If I were to guess his reasoning, it'd probably be the better of the 2 from Blow Up Your Video in this case. He probably preferred it over a lot of these tracks, which is a surprise. Very happy he put it there. Very, very surprised. At number 5, I went with Skies on Fire from Black Ice. Now, if you remember correctly, not too long ago, we just went ahead and broke down the entire Black Ice album in 2 parts. First part was end of April, the second part was the second episode of May from this past month. So this album is still very, very fresh in our minds. Go remember that. So, Skies on Fire has been a track that's been in my life for freaking ever. It was like one of my favorite songs growing up by AC/DC, especially when Black Ice first came out. And I remember in middle school, I had this really bad habit of falling asleep with my earbuds on, with my iPod Touch that I had. And this song was always on repeat. I don't know what it was, I just really enjoyed it back in middle school. So this one definitely takes a number 5 spot for me just because of the nostalgia factor. And just like, it's just a really good fucking song. Black Ice is fucking amazing. Dystro did the same exact thing and put Skies on Fire, so I'm very, very pleased with that. Every time I think of Dystro, I think of Black Ice. Like, that album was his baby. Like, every time I think about it, I think of him. I know how much he really liked it when we listened to it the first time, and then when he went ahead and did it the second time, I know he really liked it as well. So I think that's kind of why you put that there. Just Skies on Fire is very, very good. Black Ice is very, very good in general. So hats off to him on that. Alright, at number 4, I went ahead and put Stiff Upper Lip. This album really disappointed me the first time around. However, this track, the lead single from this album, so freaking good. Another one of those songs that really brings me back to my childhood because my dad played this album so much when I was a kid. And this is the opening track. And my God, is it good. I love Stiff Upper Lip. That track is really good. It just screams 2000s, you know. So, at number 4, for Dystro, he put the other Black Ice track, titled Decibel. Ooh, that track's really good, too. I'm really glad he put it in the top 5, though. I will definitely give him props for that, because that track is very good, too. I love the guitar on that. It just screams. It sounds so freaking good. Honestly, 08 AC/DC, that's probably like the best era of AC/DC of the 2000s, honestly. At number 3, I went ahead and did Decibel, so I really don't have much to say about that. I just talked about it. Very, very good track from Black Ice. Hats off to that. At number 3 for Dystro, he went with Stand Up from Fly on the Wall. That is amazing. That is amazing. So, I remember Dystro really liked Fly on the Wall as well when we did it together. And we're actually really due to run that back. Way overdue. And obviously he probably remembers we also got Stand Up on MTV Night not too long ago. So, that's probably his thinking, and he really, really enjoys that song. At number 2 for me, I put You Shook Me All Night Long. Honestly, one of my favorite tracks from Back in Black. I almost said Black Ice. One of my favorite tracks from Back in Black, next to Hell's Bells. It's just so good. It's so good, and there's 2 music videos. Like, you can't go wrong. There are 2 different music videos. If you find a second one, oh my gosh, enjoy. At number 2, Dystro put Stiff Upper Lip. Why am I not surprised? I remember when we did this album for the first time. This is our first time where we kind of differed on opinions. I didn't care for Stiff Upper Lip at all. I didn't care for the album. He did. And I remember he really likes the actual song, Stiff Upper Lip, and he liked the music video, too. I remember he told me it kind of screams early 2000s. It screams a new chapter for AC/DC and the group. It just screams like a new sound, like a new, fresh sound. But I am definitely overdue to give that album a rerun, so maybe we'll be doing that in the future as well. And at number 1, we actually have the same number 1 with Night Prowler. This is literally the only Bon Scott track we got tonight on this random ranking episode. That is insane. That the one Bon Scott track beats all of the other 9 Brian Johnson tracks. That should tell you something. I mean, come on. Night Prowler is the last we ever heard of Bon Scott. It was the closing track from Highway to Hell. And we actually did an episode about this song in particular on one of our Halloween episodes for the serial killers. Because there was a serial killer who actually used this song every time he'd go to kill somebody. If you remember that episode, oh boy. So, I do remember how much we really enjoyed this track at the first time we did Highway to Hell together. So, I can see why we both put it at number 1, and I'm very glad we both picked the same number 1. Doesn't happen often on the show, but lately it has been happening. I don't know what we've been eating, I don't know what we've been sniffing. We've just been agreeing a lot lately, and it's probably a good thing. So, my friends, that wraps up our 5th episode of AC/DC Random Ranking Edition. I hope you enjoyed. Now, I'm going to leave the question with you guys. Where would you guys put these songs on a top 10 list? Would you guys pick the same number 1, or is your favorite one of the other ones? Are you more of like a Back in Black person, or are you kind of a hidden gem person with Fly on the Wall? Like, what are you? Like, what would you prefer? So, feel free to leave that in the comments or on social media. So, next episode, which is scheduled for this Thursday. This one is pre-recorded by Dystro, because, like I said, he is coming up here this week. He'll be here the 5th to the 8th, so he had to go ahead and pre-record that episode. It'll be on June 6th. It is Let's Talk Rivalries, so this one's going to be about Owen and Brett, the 2 Hart brothers. this is going to be a little interesting because I don't know a whole lot about Owen. I know more about Brett than I do with Owen, but you guys will have to wait and see how much in depth Dystro went into this. So that'll be this Thursday. We hope you enjoy that. I also have tonight's song of the night. So, since we just reran Enema of the State last night on the 1st, Enema of the State just turned 25 this year as of last night. Happy birthday to that album. That album is freaking amazing. We just went ahead and reran it for its anniversary. Mind you, we hadn't listened to that album since last winter when we did the Blink pilgrimage all together. So, I'm going to go ahead and pick a track from Enema of the State, and I'm going to go with Anthem. I'm going to go with Anthem Part 1, because I've always preferred Anthem Part 1 over the other two parts. Yes, Part 2 and Part 3. And it's just, that's the closing track from Enema of the State. So it's like, I think it's the perfect closer, because when you go into the next album, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, it opens with Anthem Part 2. So, I'm going to go with Anthem Part 1 from Enema of the State by Blink-182. There is no music video. If you guys would like to take a listen, I will go ahead and put at the top right-hand corner of this episode. Go ahead and click on it. Listen to the whole song. It's really good. Once again, happy 25th anniversary to Enema of the State. What a game changer. So, as usual, if you stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Go on ahead, follow us on social media by clicking on that link in the description below, which should take you to Linktree. We have Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and Twitter. Follow us there to keep up to date with the show. Also, Dystro's YouTube channel is there as well. He uploads weekly gaming content as well as memes here and there. I don't know what he's at for subscribers right now, but I'm trying to get into 1,400 sometime this month. So if you haven't done so already, please go subscribe to him and share his stuff around. I would greatly appreciate that. Once again, take a listen to tonight's song of the night, Anthem Part 1 by Blink-182. And that's it. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you guys next Sunday, but Dystro will be here this Thursday. Peace!